be the 39th all-time meeting between the Revs and Galaxy as we go on the field, brought to you by Windows. Players emerging from the locker rooms to get ready for the first half kick here on FS1. Take a look at the Revolution and some of their 11 that will be out there today. Certainly they will have their work cut out for them against the Galaxy, but the Revolution is the team that's probably been in a little bit better form as of late. Alongside Tony Miola, Mark Rogandino here with you. We'll get to Katie Witham down on the sidelines in just a moment. First of all, Tony, I think you got to give hats off to the fans still fighting their way into Gillette Stadium here. Some wet, windy weather, but almost makes the ambiance and the conditions a little more inviting in the sense that this is some good soccer on a Sunday.
It sure does make it exciting, and there is some enthusiasm in the stadium for sure. Mother Nature not necessarily cooperating. You see underneath the tunnels here, it is completely packed here at Gillette Stadium, but nonetheless, when this thing kicks off, it'll be exciting, as every time the LA Galaxy comes into town, doesn't matter, you always got a little bit more energy playing against Bruce Arena's side.
And we'll talk more about that relationship later on in the broadcast between the two head coaches, Jay Heaps and Bruce Arena, as the players have made their way to the center of the pitch for today's anthem.
Please rise as we honor America and all those who serve to protect it. Presenting tonight's colors, please welcome the Beverly Fire Department Honor Guard. And here to perform our national anthem, please welcome country music recording artist and Chelmsford, Mass native, Jilly Martin.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land and the free, and the home of the
Jilly Martin ringing it out to get the crowd ready for this one. Jay Heaps over in his 4th season as the head coach of the New England Revolution. You see his all-time record in guiding the Revs so far. And then on the other side, maybe if you would call Heaps the apprentice, you could probably say that Bruce Arena, somewhat the master. 13 years as an MLS head coach, now in his 8th season in charge of the LA Galaxy, and he's amassed 104 wins, 57 losses, and 59 draws in his time in charge of the Galaxy. On that note, we go down to the field with Katie Witham, brought to you by Windows, for more on how LA answered the call in the absence of Robbie Keane.
Well, Mark, there's no question that this LA Galaxy team is a different one without Robbie Keane on the field. But when you dive into it and really look at the numbers, it's pretty astonishing just how different they are. Since 2012, with Robbie Keane on the field, they have a plus 68 goals differential. Without him, it's negative 11. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, that's the case they find themselves in today, and maybe for a while. Yesterday, Bruce Arena told us it will be about a month before Robbie Keane is 100% healthy.
We'll get more from Katie throughout the course of tonight's broadcast as we are just about set for the opening kick. But before we get to that, it's time for the Continental Tire Analyst Corner. What do you have for us tonight, Tony?
Well, Mark, I'm not always convinced about numbers, but those numbers are astonishing that Katie just went over. New England, can they jump on the LA Galaxy, this makeshift lineup? Can they squeeze a goal early? Maybe look at some confusion in the back four, maybe a missed kick someplace with the field conditions. And for the LA Galaxy, who's going to create? We talked about Giassi Zardes. Is it going to be Villarreal with his left foot? I look at the young man, Ignacio Maganto, who was outstanding in the last game against Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, his teammates call him Nacho, the 23-year-old from Madrid, Spain. Back into the starting lineup. He'll be making his 5th start of this MLS campaign. Alan Kelly in charge of things, standing in the middle of the pitch here at Gillette Stadium. He will oversee tonight's match. Tony, just to circle back around to the point, though, about Robbie Keane, yes, the numbers do tell part of the story, but you have to think with such a prestigious player in Keane, for so many guys, it has to be somewhat mental, not turning on or turning off at the right moments when he's not when he's not out there. They know he's not there.
Well, anytime you don't have your captain on the field, right, there's always something missing. There's that energy, and maybe when you get towards the end of the game, when you're trying to kill a game, maybe the smarts to get one in the corner and make the right decision. Things like that you miss when Robbie Keane is not on the field. But look, LA has to deal with it today. We talked to Bruce Arena yesterday. He talked about getting to halftime and still having an opportunity to win this game. So we'll see how LA approaches this early on.
And as I mentioned a couple of times, the wet weather and the wind, how much do you expect that to be a factor here tonight?
Well, I think you're going to miss a little bit in the midfield, right? Maybe there's a ball that you normally would try to squeeze into the midfield, but you lay off it a little bit. We'll see earlier how both teams attack it.
Into the center circle goes Fagundes to put the first touch on the ball. And there's the whistle from Alan Kelly. We are underway. MLS on FS1, presented by Audi. Tony Miola, Mark Rogandino, and Katie Witham, along with the rest of our Fox Sports crew. It'll be the Galaxy in the all-white kits, attacking from left to right across your screen. And in the dark tops and dark socks, the hosts, New England Revolution. Quick through ball, flag stays down, maybe an early chance! Oh, and it just goes high and wide. Perfect seam there in the opening for Charlie Davies, but he cannot finish.
Well, an opportunity for Charlie Davies there. There you see the through ball, a little bit of miscommunication in the back, a little bit of unorganization, just what we talked about. Charlie Davies with the opportunity, sees Pinedo's eyes, but couldn't keep that one on the frame. But an excellent opportunity gone awry for this New England Revolution team early.
Tony, taking your commentating hat off for a moment and going to your goalkeeping hat, that is not what Pinedo wants to see in the opening 60 seconds of this game.
No, certainly not. And you certainly, at this point, the way Charlie Davies has been playing, the way he's been finishing goals, you don't want to be staring in his eyes in the first minute of the game from about 7 or 8 yards away, but LA dodged one there.
Jermaine Jones rises up to win the first ball. And now Zardes trying to keep a little possession alive. Villarreal, good touch to push it outside, and he'll get it on the return pass. Villarreal, one of 3 homegrown talents on the field in the starting 11 this evening for Los Angeles. Back on the ball here for New England. Will stay in. Leonardo comes over to try and disrupt things. And now Zardes moving away from pressure. There's Leonardo again. A little bit of a shove there against Charlie Davies. No whistle, though. Sidic challenging as the 2 number 6s come together. Scott Caldwell, the youngster, is part of the midfield, central midfield, I should say, tonight, once again for New England.
And Mark, one thing I'll look for, we talked about Oscar Soto being the 6th left back that Bruce Arenas had to use. How can T.L. Bunbury get behind him? Will he take him on the dribble? Will he look to run past him? How will New England use him on that right-hand side of the field?
And you and I were discussing before we came on the air. I mean, that left side is young for Bruce Arena over there. We'll see how Jay Heaps and the Revs and maybe look to exploit it at times here tonight. Zardes Bounces on a loose ball at the edge of the 18, but then whistled for the foul. And a quick restart from New England. Gargan steps in. Ishizaki to Juninho and out wide. Following the early chance for New England, all of a sudden a good string of possession here for the Galaxy. Gonzalez to poke it away at midfield. Well, this game here, Tony, wraps up a very busy month of May. As you take a look at the updated conditions, chilly. As I said to you, you're an East Coast guy. I'm not expecting this when I come from Southern California. Nearly in the first week of June.
This at this point right now, right? We don't know anything different over the last couple months. I'm just looking, Mark, at LA's posture right now. They are playing high up the field. You saw that early foul, the top of the 18. It doesn't look like Bruce Arena is willing to just sit back right now and allow New England to play through the midfield.
Andrew Farrell stepping up to get into the fold from his center back spot. LA push it away through the Brazilian center back Leonardo.
And I also think, Mark, with the conditions, right, it makes it really difficult to string a whole bunch of passes together. So maybe now, even if Bruce did have an idea, although he talked about being aggressive in the first 15 minutes when we talked to him yesterday, if he did have an idea, the conditions change a little bit. Maybe you can pressure in areas that you wouldn't normally pressure.
Agudelo, his first sequence on the night on the ball. He'll be part of some good attacking play here tonight for New England from the flanks. Cutting it back inside. Caldwell, left foot across to the backside. It's 1-0 Revs! The other half of the speed combination. Teal Marbury gives New England a lead.
Well, we talked about that left side of the field. As we see it here, a little bit of miscommunication. Sordo losing his mark at the back post. Bunbury, we talked about the matchup early in the game. There's an outstanding ball by Agudelo. Scott Caldwell across the face of the goal. Nothing Pinedo can do to get across. New England 1-0 early. We talked about jumping on this LA Galaxy team early. That's just what Jay Heaps did. Jay Heaps' team did.
Third goal of the season for Teal Bunbury. And his previous two were both game winners coming against Philadelphia in New York. The Revs would love to see if they can make that one stand up as a third game winner. Early days, though, here at Gillette Stadium, and obviously the word response now comes to mind if you're looking to see what the Galaxy can accomplish.
And we go back to that matchup as we talked about on the left. Does New England now continue to revisit that matchup? Do they keep getting down, trying to get Bunbury? Of course, this one started on the left-hand side of the field for New England. Ended up like Sordo was ball watching a little bit, was squared up to the ball. Didn't know where the runner was. Bunbury, not an easy finish, by the way. That ball skipping across the face of the goal, did a very good job to keep it on the frame.
Bodies collide at the top of the 18. No call, though, as Nacho Maganto tried to play through it. The goal scorer, Bunbury playing that through, but it'll go out. Go back and take one more look at it, and let's not discredit the ball from Scott Caldwell to the back post.
Yeah, it starts with that one by Agudelo. Caldwell sees the run at the back post. There you see Sordo in the middle of the field. Nothing Pinedo can do. He does his best to get all the way across the goal. Unfortunately, couldn't make a play.
Gonzalez will win the ball out of the air in the midfield. Juninho touching it out wide. Zardes on the diagonal run in towards the edge of the area. And a good tackle there from Farrell to push it away. Foul whistled against LA. Let's quickly go downstairs to Katie for some in-game strategy.
Well, Mark, Jay Heaps noticing that LA's defense playing a high line just had a moment to yell out to his team, if you get the opportunity, play some long balls deep over the top and take advantage of that space.
You know, Tony, we've already detailed some of the speed factor coming from the flanks. You would think that even with the wet conditions, that's an opportunity for New England to take advantage of it tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that high line from Bruce Arena's side, as Katie just mentioned.
Davies battling there with Gonzalez and somehow keep it alive, and then touched away by Dan Gargan. First corner of the night. Continue.
And there you see a product of that high line, allowing Davies to get one-on-one with Gonzalez. It looked like as Davies made this cut here, Gonzalez seemed to turn off just a bit here for a split second. He thought this one was going out. What a move by Davies. He earns New England a corner kick. Great job by Charlie Davies.
Rev stacking up some numbers by the penalty spot. If you just joined us, Keel Bunbury's third of the year. The difference so far. Oh, and that one just goes wide off of the head of Jermaine Jones.
Little lax marking in the box. Good ball by Fagundes to get it into the danger area. Jermaine Jones peeled from that back six to that near post six. Was able to glance it, couldn't keep it on the frame. Another opportunity for New England.
Jones wearing the captain's band, as he has done since early on in this season. Got a pretty good record when he does wear the captain's band. Their only loss coming a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, I should say, against Sporting Kansas City. That's their only loss in their last 11 outings in MLS play. Ishizaki for Gargan. See if the Galaxy can settle back in a little bit here following the early strike from the home side. Fagundes has come in to replace Lee Win, who, as Tony told you at the top of the broadcast, out on the red card suspension. Jones. Fagundes, second man in there. And the offside flag up on the far side, but Pineda was there as well.
You can see the idea there. Fagundes from the middle of the field gets out left here to combine with Agudelo. You never know what to expect from Juan Agudelo, right? Those are the type of plays, the little flicks, the dummies that you get from Juan, creates in so many different ways.
You know, I think when you look at Agudelo as well, it's interesting how he's a different player now that he's come back to Major League Soccer. Compared to we saw him early days in New York. Still has a lot of the same talents, obviously, but you can see that he's matured on the field as well.
There's no question. I think he's a more complete player at the moment.
Bending ball off of the left foot there of Husidic.
To get back to Agudelo, I think when you have an experience like he did, you go overseas, it doesn't work out. Maybe it humbles you a little bit, but I talk about it all the time. The only way to get better, Mark, is to be on the field. And he comes back to New England. Jay Heaps gives him a responsibility. Talked about the one thing he had to convince him to do was get up and down the flank when they don't have the ball, to do the defensive work. So Jay Heaps has sold him on that. He's done outstanding for this New England Revolution team and really offers them. But he's always offered teams so much on the attacking side. It was becoming a more complete player that Juan Agudelo had to work on.
Well, you could probably speak to it better than anybody, Tony Miola. So many years professionally with the club and also with country. It's the great ones that can do all the work without the ball and make the difference. New England looking for another attacking sequence coming forward down the right side, trying to exploit LA's defensive left side, and they'll get their second corner of the evening.
You know, just a minute ago we saw Fagundes creating on his left-hand side of the field. Now he goes down the right-hand side, creates another corner kick for New England. The type of player that you never really know where he's going to show up to find the ball.
Fagundes, just 20 years old and about to hit the century mark in MLS appearances. Alston trying to keep it alive, just knocks it up into the air. Offside flag comes up. And LA will begin things from inside their own 18.
Not sure that ball there from Fagundes was meant to go that deep. We take a look here. LA doing a good job of pushing out. Here's the ball in. Kevin Alston. It was close. The assistant referee got it right there.
Yeah, not so sure. Alston clipped it exactly the way he wanted to back into the fold as well. Davies let it go. A little miscommunication with Fagundes there. So it's Omar Gonzalez to step to it for Los Angeles. Pushed away by Agudelo. Gargan, though, able to regain position. Back for Pinedo. Dangerous spot. Now Gonzalez will send it out towards Ishizaki. Zardes to knock it down for Husidic into space. Foot race here. And a good one. Zardes gets there first in front of Goncalves. Juninho will open up the door to the other side, and Leonardo keeps it going in that direction.
It's a good spell right now by LA from one side of the field to the other, able to keep possession.
Zardes waiting for the overlapping run, but a little too heavy on that ball as it runs out. Tony, that goal, by the way, 5th minute goal from Teal Bunbury. Fastest goal by New England this season. The previous one was scored in the 9th minute against the New York Red Bulls.
As we talked about, Jay Heaps wanted to come out the first 15 minutes, be aggressive on the attacking side of things. We talked about it early. Can they jump on this LA team? They've done just that. They've had 3 or 4 opportunities now. LA just needs to find a little bit of possession, keep the ball a little bit, but give New England credit. They've pressured the Galaxy all through the midfield so far.
Nearly a quarter of an hour in here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. It's MLS on FS1 presented by Audi. And the Revs in a rematch with the team that took the MLS Cup out of their hands a little over 6 months ago in the 2014 MLS Cup Final. They're out in front of the Galaxy, compliments of a 5th minute goal, fastest goal of the season for the Revs, coming off of a nice finish at the back post from Teal Bunbury.
One thing you haven't seen here from the Galaxy, still no panic here. Early goal, not really part of your game plan, but I think sometimes when you give up goals that early, right, you really haven't gotten into your game plan, right? You haven't had a chance to execute some of the things you worked on, you know, leading up to this game. So you generally don't change very much.
Nice long diagonal ball. Maganto able to bring it down. He's got some numbers inside the area. Zardes in front. Just trying to get any contact on it he could, but he sends it over the crossbar.
Good opportunity for LA. Starts from a long ball across the field from Omar Gonzalez. We talked about Maganto, a crafty little player. Good run inside there. Jose Villarreal looks like he pulls Farrell out there. Good run by Zardes. Couldn't keep it on the frame. But again, we talked about just a little bit of possession for LA. Was able to get on into the attacking third of New England.
And there is the aforementioned Villarreal putting a touch to it. Maganto once again trying to provide the return pass back to Jose Villarreal. And this one will come back for Shuttleworth. And there's the conditions playing a little bit of a factor. I'm sure Jay Heaps held his breath for a moment over on the Revs sideline.
Boy, when that one left Woodbury's foot, I thought this one's trouble here. Certainly not the ball Bobby Shuttleworth was looking for. A bouncer in this rain. Wasn't able to handle it. Fortunately for him, it didn't end up in the back of the net, giving LA an opportunity here on a corner kick.
Bottom of your screen there, the number 4, Omar Gonzalez. He's the big target to keep your eyes on off the set pieces. That one goes to the near post. It is Gonzalez. Didn't quite get the complete contact on the ball with his forehead, and it zips wide of the far post.
Good opportunity. I think LA wouldn't mind a few of these corners here. It's like Woodbury loses Gonzalez. Couldn't get a clean header on goal. But certainly I think Jay Heaps would want tighter marking there.
Ball pushed away, finds the feet of Jermaine Jones, but not before a whistle from Alan Kelly, our referee tonight, to give the Galaxy back a free kick. You know, we already kind of touched on the fact no Robbie Keane here tonight. I think it's probably a good idea to see how this partnership for Zardes and Villarreal, what it looks like. I mean, you got a couple of great super sub and veterans, Alan Gordon and Edson Buttle, over there on the bench, ready at a moment's notice.
I wouldn't be surprised with the conditions eventually if they continue to worsen here, that you see Buttle and you see Alan Gordon in at the same time.
Villarreal leaves it there for Husidic, and then the chance, and LA finds an equalizer! Nacho Maganto with a laser to beat Shuttleworth, and we're level at 1.
Well, that will make that man Bruce Arena happy, but not that man Bobby Shuttleworth. As we see this ball get down the right side, here's the cross. New England doesn't do a good job of clearing it, and look at this shot. Do we have a candidate for goal of the week here? Miss-hit by Husidic, but not miss-hit by Maganto. LA on the road ties it 1-1.
And just like that, LA able to find it. You always remember your first, Tony.
Wow.
And Nacho Maganto with his first ever MLS goal to bring us level inside of 20 minutes inside Gillette Stadium. See what kind of confidence that gives the Galaxy. Villarreal sent to the turf. And Jermaine Jones will send it out as they check on Villarreal. And immediately calling the stretcher over is Alan Kelly, our referee.
And here you see Jermaine Jones from behind, met with Woodbury there. Villarreal looks like he's holding on to his shoulder here. It wasn't so much the tackle, it wasn't so much an ankle or a knee, but he landed on the turf. It looks like they're working on his shoulder. Didn't see much in the tackle mark. Looked pretty clean.
Yeah, I thought the timing on the replay looked like it was a well-timed tackle from Woodbury. He did have Jermaine Jones kind of coming in from behind there on the double team. And there is Edson Buttle, who we spoke about, back in the fold after a couple of seasons in Colorado, back under Bruce Arena's thumb in the Galaxy.
We talked to him yesterday a little bit. A big smile on his face, the opportunity to potentially finish his career in Los Angeles. You know, Bruce Arena's done such a great job over the years of taking guys that maybe are at the end of their career, maybe have 3 or 4 years left. Things haven't worked out for one reason or another in another place, and they get to the LA Galaxy. Alan Gord's a great example of that. I'm sure at some point in the game we'll see him enter. But he convinces guys that they're part of the team. He convinces guys that they can help his team win a championship, and they buy into that theory. And he's done it for years and years with players, and it continues to work for Bruce Arena.
Well, 20 minutes gone, and both teams have had to pull the ball out of the back of the net, so certainly defense is a concern. For more on that, let's go downstairs to Katie.
Well, Mark, you and Tony have both talked about this matchup over on the left side with Teal Bunbury and Oscar Soto. During the few moments we've had for an injury delay, Bruce actually pulled Oscar over here to the sideline to tell him, hey, Teal's running through you right now. You've got to be stronger, specifically on the ball. Watch for it, guys.
We'll also keep our eyes over on that sideline for Jose Villarreal. See if indeed here in the first half Bruce Arena has to make a change. Through ball, Gonzalez steps in. That was intended for Charlie Davies.
That matchup Katie just talked about physically, I would think Teal Bunbury wins that more often than not. But you know, here's a guy that played generally as a target forward. He was playing out wide, so he also has the ability to run in behind you, has the ability to dribble at you and put you on your heels. He'll also hold it up in that position out wide like a target player.
I mean, it almost really, and when you think about on the other side with Agudelo, it almost really becomes a three-pronged attack, almost like 3 strikers out there for Heaps and the Revs. Caldwell steps in to win the ball for New England. Here is Agudelo. Out into some space, looking for Fagundes. Leonardo comes over to pick the pocket there at Bunbury. Juninho under pressure, back for Omar Gonzalez, and finally the Galaxy can breathe for a moment as the ball comes into some space for Gargan. Alston stood tall at the midfield strike to win it, and challenged by Dan Gargan from behind to give the Revs a free kick.
So Agudelo checking back for the ball. Gargan was able to get tight there. Did foul him. But you'll notice when Agudelo and Bunbury get into the interior parts of the field and they make runs inside, Woodbury on the right and Kevin Alston on the left automatically will overlap. It's something that Jay Heaps talked about. So we take another look there. Gargan clips Agudelo. But he talked about how much work he asks his outside backs to do, getting up the field and being part of the attack.
Brought down by Fagundes. And out for a New England throw. Wait for Kevin Alston, the outside back, to come over and take it. He has the ability with that long throw. See if they use it here. They don't. Vucinic stepped in to win it for a moment. Now Juninho into space as the Galaxy try to clear things out from their own end. Ishizaki couldn't put enough on the long ball to the far sideline. Steps back in, though, to win it here for LA. And it looks like we're going to have our first booking on the night as Alston stopped the flow of the attack there.
Yeah, Alston, once that ball was turned over, Ishizaki got himself in a good position. As soon as he got his body in front of Alston, there was not much he could do. I think he saw green pastures in front of him. As we see Alston come into the picture, grabs him.
And remember, Kevin Alston in there at that left back spot. He can play either outside back spot for New England, but in there because Chris Tierney picked up that straight red card in their last outing, the 1-1 draw with Eastern Conference leaders DC United. Ishizaki, the 33-year-old from Sweden, will stand over the free kick to deliver. In toward the top of the 18. Well handled there by New England. Not much trouble on the service. Gargan zips it out for Ishizaki. Tough ball to handle there. Here's Fagundes. Immediately into space. Sorto had the inside track, and the Galaxy maintained possession. Juninho opens things up to the far side for Villarreal, who was waved back on just a couple minutes ago.
Like Sorto was looking for a foul there. There probably was a foul. Alan Kelly decided to play on. A good job by the referee. You see him there. He gets clipped there. Referee Alan Kelly sees it out. They're able to build through. We'll see it one more time here. Just that clip on the back heel by Charlie Davies.
And then the ensuing throw on the other side. You don't see that called too often. The bad throw from Fagundes over there. Jones nodding it forward, looking for Davies. Barry will send it into some space. And it'll stay at this end as a throw here for the Revolution. 1-1, 26 minutes of play here inside Gillette Stadium. Davies trying to post up in front of Omar Gonzalez. Juninho picks up the loose ball, and Zardes could not keep it for the Galaxy.
It's good recovery there by Jermaine Jones, recognizing the danger.
Gonzalez sprays the ball into the far side corner. Sorto standing tall to defend and out for a throw for New England. Fagundes couldn't hang on to it, but he does get it back. Vucinic back on the ball for LA. Here's Ishizaki. Not the best of numbers for the Galaxy, but Ishizaki slows down to wait for some help. Looking for the long ball all the way across. Villarreal pulls it down. Great back heel. Zardes! 2-1 LA!
Well, you talked about not the best numbers on that attack for the LA Galaxy, so hold it up here. Play it inside. I think they were looking for Gargan, but it ends up with Villarreal. And Gyasi Zardes, a calm finish for a young man. Sees the far post, side foot, lower corner, nothing Bobby Shuttleworth can do, but look at the beauty of that back heel. As you see Gargan on that back post. That initial ball maybe was meant for him. It's like Villarreal still hurting from that earlier shoulder injury. But the LA Galaxy, a bit of a surprise for the New England Revolution here, up 2-1.
Trailing 1-0 after 4 minutes and change, with Teal Bunbury delivering the early strike for the Revs, and now Bruce Arena's men have battled back to take a 2-1 lead. in the ensuing 20 minutes, and that is going to be it on the night for Villarreal. So he makes a print on the match, Tony, and their super sub and leading goal scorer Alan Gordon steps on here in the 28th minute.
Unfortunate for Villarreal, but he did make his mark, as you mentioned, on the game. Alan Gordon coming in just a little bit earlier than we're used to seeing him. Normally in the last 20-25 minutes is Alan Gordon time for Bruce Arena. Now asked to play a different role today due to that injury.
And when you look at Alan Gordon, I think a lot of people would be surprised to see how he's just been able to do it. He's reinvented himself so many times with a couple of different teams, but he is a guy that truly understands his role and does every bit of it to make sure he's a disruption immediately when he steps out onto the field for his opponents.
One thing I asked him yesterday, did you ever think you'd be doing this in an LA Galaxy uniform after all those years with San Jose? His response, never.
That's not a good sign, as the training staff will escort Villarreal back toward the locker room. Almost says something for Villarreal that if the shoulder injury, if what we're suspecting might be a shoulder injury, was that bad, that he came back out on the field, continued on, and not only that, delivered a great back heel for Zardes' goal. Meanwhile, here in the 30th minute, maybe a chance for another one. Now you've got two big targets, Gonzalez and Gordon, hovering on the back post. This one goes in toward the penalty spot, headed away by Caldwell.
I think with all of these free kicks in and around the final third of the field for LA, New England is just inviting this pressure, right? Because when you think of the game plan, you think about missing that creative aspect. The one thing they do have, Omar Gonzalez, they have Leonardo.
Gonzalez will stay forward here. As you saw from the graphic there, this is the first time that New England all season has trailed at home here at Gillette Stadium. Good skill there from Agudelo to get into some open space. Vucinic leaves it there for Juninho. He can pull the trigger from there. There was contact from behind, and that will give LA a great spot for a free kick about 25 yards out.
This is a great job here by Vucinic. As he receives the ball here, you'll see him, sorry, it's Juninho. He puts his body into Caldwell, drawing that foul there. But we just talked about free kicks in and around the box. Again, inviting LA in an area that they feel that they could be dangerous in, whether it's wide, whether it's here in the middle of the field. We've seen Juninho hit these from distance. Again, New England maybe just need to be a little bit more active with their feet in the final third and defend with their feet a little bit more. I'm sure something Jay Heaps will address at halftime with this group.
Oh, this certainly is in range for someone to go for the direct strike. You see Juninho eyeing it up, and instead it's going to be Ishizaki right into the wall. Follow-up chance denied again, and both teams will reset their shape. Agudelo comes forward to apply some pressure to Omar Gonzalez. Pineda will just thump it out to midfield. Jermaine Jones down near the center circle. And quickly, Alan Kelly halts play to go over and check on the Revs captain. Didn't really pick up anything in the live action as far as New England clearing the ball and Jones colliding with somebody.
Can't tell if it's a quad there, but as he was coming out, he made that turn. I believe it was on the second chance on that free kick. Just looked like an awkward turn.
Tell you what though, Tony, what a change of events here from the Revs taking the 1-0 lead and really came flying at LA in the early moments of the game. And LA has been able to handle it to the tune of taking a 2-1 lead.
And here you see that follow-up here. Jones doesn't get hit here, but as we roll this a little bit more, you'll see him pull up right there. Looks like he's asking already to come out of the game. Looks like day over for Jermaine Jones. Anytime you get one of those non-contacts, Mark, a non-contact injury.
It was almost like he was trying to explode to get to the ball there as New England was clearing their lines from their own defensive third. You know, especially in these type of, you know, cold conditions, wet conditions like we have here. That little tweak can happen so quickly. But after a brilliant start for Jay Heaps and the New England Revolution, things have all of a sudden gone pear-shaped here inside of Gillette Stadium. And you see Andy Dorman putting the jersey on, so it looks like he will be the player that will come in. Both teams have to use a change here in the opening 35 minutes.
The bigger concern now, if you're New England, and what kind of damage now to Jermaine Jones's injury there? Is it a long-term thing?
Absolutely. Back to the live action. LA leading 2-1. Ishizaki inside for Gordon. Juninho. Gargan. Up and over the top for Zardes. His goal the difference right now to give Los Angeles the lead. Gonzalez will clear over his shoulder and Leonardo will run it down for Los Angeles. Saturday, our coverage of the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup begins as China takes on the host country, Canada. And then next Monday, don't miss Team USA's first game as they battle Australia on Fox Sports 1. Plus games all weekend long on Fox, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, and it's all streaming on Fox Sports Go. Everyone is excited about the Women's World Cup up in Canada. And I know the folks at Fox extremely proud that an opportunity to bring you the first of many World Cups coming your way on both the men's and women's side. About 10 minutes from the end of the first half. And LA with a 2-1 lead. Zardes battling to bring it down in front of Gonzalez.
See now with a 2-1 lead for LA. Do they, now that Alan Gordon is in the game, maybe play a couple more direct balls, have Gyasi Zardes run off of him a little bit? It's really been Zardes so far, the guy going over the top. See if that changes a little bit with Alan Gordon in the game. And that's something that you do later in the game. Generally, you're trying to, you're down, you're trying to get a goal. That's what Alan Gordon has done, but you know, it's not as if Alan Gordon's been a complete substitute his entire career. It's done such a great job for Bruce Arena. Another one of those experienced role players that he brings in.
Gonzalez went to clear it right at the edge of the 18, and as he did, Teal Bunbury was just bearing down on his side. And maybe the high boot there catches a piece of the 25-year-old.
I'm not so sure about this one. LA can't clear it here. Bunbury, leg up. Boy, I would have been okay there with a no call on that one. But a good opportunity nonetheless here for New England.
Well, you can see on the replay, certainly, Tony, Gonzalez got a piece of the leg of Bunbury, but how did Teal get himself in that position? Maybe that might have been the first foul. Either way, going to be a great chance here for the Revs. Can they find an equalizer here in the first half? Fagundes standing over it, call it right on about 22 yards out from the LA goal. And you got Agudelo standing there as well. Pinedo sets the wall to protect the near post. Six in the wall from it being this close. Fagundes! Oh my! The youngster delivers a first half equalizer.
Well, you want to know how to take free kicks? Let's take a look at this one here. It doesn't have to be hit with 100% power. Fagundes up and over the wall. Pinedo gets a fingertip on it. Agudelo with that little run, maybe to deceive Pinedo a little bit. Looks like he gets a good jump on it, but nothing he can do. Well, Outstanding free kick up and down over the wall for Fagundes.
That brings us level at 2-2. Fagundes inserted into the starting lineup because Lee Wynn out with the red card suspension, and he pays dividends for Jay Heaps with his first goal of the season. Got some youngsters on display. All the talk about Davies and Bunbury. It's the even younger guys. Those guys are young too, but it's the even younger guys, Tony, that are shining so far.
Well, you want to keep yourself in the lineup. You do things like that, but Fagundes has been active all game. He gets his goal, comes on a free kick. Has created an awful lot for this New England team throughout the game. He's been the most dangerous guy so far. He's found himself on the right side of the field, left side of the field.
We'll get a chance to go back and take a look at it later. This ball up and over the top for Davies in front of Omar Gonzalez. Sordo comes over to help out defensively for LA, and they'll keep the throw. I almost say that on that free kick, isn't that one of the ones where maybe you put a defender on the near post right there? He's close enough in.
Yeah, but then you draw attacking players and you give them the ability almost to stand in front of Pinedo. You don't see it very often. If you do see it, you see just before the free kick, guys running out at that point. But I always thought that caused more confusion than anything. In that particular case, they'd have been running out anyway, but he got that one up and down. If you really look at it, when it crossed the line, it was probably about halfway up the goalpost. Right, so he really got it up and down in a hurry. Pinedo did a good job. He got a finger on it. Didn't look like he cheated. Didn't look like he took a step to his left at all. He had a good beat on it. Just too good a free kick from that range.
You got to give credit to the 20-year-old.
I think a good example there, so many players try to hit those so hard and they end up going over the net. More important to keep it on the frame to give it an opportunity, but you know, that one got up and down in a hurry.
If I can take one more look at it.
As you see it here, he doesn't hit it all that hard, and look where it enters. It's about 2/3 of the way up the goalpost, right? A lot of those you see enter towards the crossbar. Again, good job by Fagundes.
Exciting first half so far here at Gillette Stadium in a rematch of the 2014 MLS Cup Final. 2-2 so far. Do we have more in store here in the first half? Excellent ball in from Alston. It comes right back out to the left back. He'll zip one in. Gonzalez will head this one away. Caldwell steps in to try and keep it in the offensive third. Sordo under pressure, sends it in the direction of Juninho. Squirts out here for Ishizaki, but it's Alston to win it first. Up and over the top. Looking for the early ball in. Leonardo will clear. Excellent collection over the shoulder there from Juan Agudelo. And out near midfield, Gordon coming from an offside position.
We talked about wide players getting wide, winning balls. Agudelo finds himself inside. Gonzalez couldn't clear that one. Dangerous. But again, this New England team just keeps running players forward, getting players in dangerous spots. Caldwell's done an outstanding job in the middle of the field, plugging things up on that last round of attacks. There were 2 times he won the ball in the midfield, was able to get it wide again.
You can see the width is definitely giving LA some problems, especially with the overlapping runs from the outside backs. Zardes releases it into the feet of Baggio Husidic. Out wide here for Maganto. He had the first goal in the night for LA. Alston, and Ishizaki is right there, tries to knock it down for Gordon. Not a bad idea, just out of the reach of the veteran striker. Gargan. Gonzalez, can LA work themselves out of some tight space? Juninho in. Ishizaki gets it out wide. Chance to bend one in. Top of the area! And a Great look for Baggio Husidic from just inside the edge of the 18-yard box.
Good combination play out wide here for LA. Ishizaki, who's been active, plays that ball across the top of the box. Husidic with an opportunity, couldn't keep it on the frame, but good build up by Los Angeles.
Baggio Husidic has been Mr. Versatility this season for Bruce Arena and the Galaxy. Played left back on Wednesday, did very well according to Bruce Arena and the coaching staff, in a 1-0 win for LA over RSL. Now he starts in the central midfield alongside Juninho here at Gillette Stadium tonight. Dorman. If you're just joining us here, it's been a great first half. 2-2 your scoreline. Both teams have used a sub, probably for concern for the Revs. Andy Dorman had to come on to replace Jermaine Jones about 30 minutes in. Gordon skying up to try and win the first ball. Last touch by New England.
Bruce Arena talked about getting to halftime, still having an opportunity to be in the game. They've done that more of this LA Galaxy team. They haven't sat back. They've had opportunities. I think Bruce will be happy with the attitude that this LA team took. Jay Heaps' standpoint, I think he'll be good with the numbers that they were able to get forward, the chances they were able to create.
I think you go, and I to see if you agree, the more efficient team has been LA, but the lion's share of the attacking chances have gone to New England.
Yeah, I think so. And I think LA probably expected to be under pressure a little bit in their defensive third of the field with the numbers. And, you know, this New England team hasn't lost at home, as we talked about, in 17 consecutive games, including the playoffs. So Bruce kind of expected this, I would think. Jay Heaps, you know, knew his team would get forward, knew they'd have the ball more often than LA would, but it's opportunities like this to spring Giassi's artists that have been dangerous for LA.
Well, the play here in the first half, especially for New England, backing up the numbers. Yes, they're one of the most potent offenses in Major League Soccer so far this season, but they've also leaked a lot of goals this season as well.
Yeah, look, as much as Jay Heaps wants his team to attack, he's a defender at heart, right? So when he sees his team giving up 2 goals, for sure, you know, have something to say about it at halftime.
Into the first of the 3 minutes of added time to close out this first half. And Oscar Sordo, almost a similar foul to what we saw from Kevin Alston, stopping the flow going one way. No card, though, this time from the referee. Onto the back post. Agudelo with a chance for another. And the left-footed volley will go wide.
I'm not so sure about this foul. Bruce Arena really upset. I don't see a foul there. There you see Bruce's reaction. And then this is what it results in. Agudelo at the back post with an opportunity that he'll want back for sure.
That's a couple times now, Tony. We've seen the back post, whoever's making that run, a little open, with probably more space than Bruce Arena would be comfortable with.
Yeah, it's a matter of being alert there. I think they were caught a little bit off guard. They argued for a split second. New England puts the ball in play, and before you know it, they have that opportunity.
Shuttleworth shuffling over. As we're halfway through the minimum 3 minutes of stoppage time, the New England keeper lays it down. Free kick chance here in first half stoppage time for the Revs. And obviously so important defensively here for Los Angeles to stay focused. It's been a high-scoring affair so far through 45 minutes and change. Certainly plenty of talking points on both sides for each of the head coaches. Pinedo will come and catch just at the edge of his own 6-yard box. Maybe a chance to counter now here for LA. Juninho leading the charge toward more midfield as he's upended by the Portuguese center back Gonçalves. Last couple of seconds on the watch of Alan Kelly. Woodbury sends that away to Fagundes. It's his goal off of a free kick chance that tied the game. And there is the whistle to bring the first half to a close. So a back and forth affair. It was New England who struck first, only to see Giassi Zardes eventually give LA a 2-1 lead. 4 goals in the first half tonight, ties for the most in MLS this season, and 2 apiece for the Galaxy and New England. Let's go down to Katie Witham with our sideline report, sponsored by Avocare, the official sports nutrition partner of Major League Soccer.
Bruce knotted up at 2 going into half. What did you think of the first?
I'm kind of speechless. Difficult conditions. The officiating's all over the place. It's a difficult game.
What do you need to see specifically that's different coming out here?
I don't think anyone has any control of anything. I can't even answer that question.
Okay, Bruce.
It's hectic.
Hectic would be one way to put it, Tony Miola. Either way, it's a 2-2 game.
Somehow Katie had Bruce Arena speechless at the beginning of it.
That doesn't happen too often. Off to a great start here through 45 minutes. 2-2 between the Revs and Galaxy on FS1. Set to begin the second half of play here, MLS on FS1, presented by Audi. After an exhilarating first half, the rain has notched it up a couple of levels, and we'll see if the play will follow. 2-2 between the Revs and Galaxy in their lone meeting of the 2015 MLS regular season. 4 different goal scorers in the first half, and a little bit of a youth movement here tonight inside Gillette Stadium. Galaxy will begin in possession, attacking from right to left across your screen. The MLS Cup defending champions in all white. New England defends the goal to Tony and my left. Of course, I'm talking about longtime U.S. netminder and World Cup veteran Tony Miola. I'm Mark Rogandino. We got Katie Witham, who we'll get to in just a bit, down on the sidelines. Tony, that sometimes Bruce Arena has the ability to kind of lock things down defensively. How eager do you think he is, given the scoreline here and kind of the conditions, to take some chances with his team going forward here in the second half?
Well, I think it's important. 3 games now for Bruce Arena's team in 10 days. Coming off 6 points in the first 2 games. At one point, you might just go for it here. Certainly, he'd like to come out of here with a point. But in knowing Bruce, right, there comes a point in the game where he gets as hungry as anybody to get 3 points. And, you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing if you went for it. Right, because you have those 6 points in this tight stretch now. He talked about traveling across the country, and how difficult that's been on him. He was in Orlando 2 weeks ago, so he's had to make that cross-country flight twice now. But in listening to his comments, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that locker room.
It's always good for a colorful comment, whether his team is in front, behind, or losing. Throw deep in New England's end for LA. Gonto trying to play it back for the left back, Oscar Sordo. Let's go downstairs and check in with Katie Witham as we begin the second half.
Mark, a quick injury update for you for LA. Jose Villarreal out of the game with a left shoulder sprain. And for New England, Jermaine Jones, originally they were questioning whether it was the sports hernia injury that he dealt with previously, but it is a left groin strain.
Either way, Tony, you look at both of those in the description. Great work by Katie down there. Those are not injuries where you're just going to come back and play next week usually.
Yeah, depending on the severity, you know, that'll determine how many weeks he'll be out. But certainly I would think Jurgen Klinsmann now has some decisions to make, having named that roster. New England, of course, you know, Jay Heaps, equally as important decision for him.
And again, I go back to Villarreal. Obviously that injury, we saw him helped off the field early on after New England was already in front 1-0. He continued to play for about another 8-9 minutes, including the assist on the Zardes goal. A little bit of toughness there from the young man out of Inglewood, California.
Yeah, give him credit. He got up. He went as long as he could. Made his impact on the game. Figured he couldn't go anymore.
A couple minutes into the second half. LA with the free kick opportunity. Ishizaki standing over it. Delivering onto the back post, looking for the head of Alan Gordon, who came on to replace the aforementioned Villarreal, but that one sails out for a goal kick.
Once again, picking up on that theme we talked about in the first half. As you see, Bobby Shuttleworth not happy with the marking in the box there, but the more New England lets LA creep in with free kicks in and around the box, eventually, whether it's Leonardo now with Alan Gordon, and of course Omar Gonzalez, who we've seen him do this time and time again in the box on restarts. Won a championship for this LA team on a restart 2 years ago. I think New England playing with fire there when they continue to give free kicks again in and around the box.
Reminder for you, Saturday, it's the UEFA Champions League final live from Berlin as Juventus take on Leo Messi and Barcelona. Our coverage begins Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. I pose the question to you, partner. What do you think of the chances that Juventus, I mean, we know how talented Barcelona can be. Can Juventus keep pace with them there in Berlin?
Well, I'll tell you what, people have thought about Juventus being eliminated from this tournament time and time again over the last couple of rounds, but they continue to write this Cinderella story. Of course, Barcelona probably the favorite in most people's eyes. Sometimes you have destiny on your side, but if anyone's going to lock down that Barcelona defense, it'd be that outstanding Juventus defense. Sorry, their three-headed attack for Barcelona.
True.
Starting to see here New England on their heels a little bit to start this second half. LA pushing it. New England now twice, knocking the ball up the field almost aimlessly. Right, giving possession back to LA. So maybe Bruce Arena said, hey, first 10 minutes, let's get at them a little bit. Let's put them under pressure. Mother Nature's starting to get a little bit more involved in this game as we go here.
You just wonder if something's going to give here. New England unbeaten at home all season in MLS play. And the Galaxy, well, to put it lightly, they have been not so good on the road, without a road win so far this year. Bunbury, who scored the game's opening goal, tracks it down. Back for Woodbury. Caldwell will help move it back across to the far side. Gonzalez, who is now wearing the captain's band, following Jermaine Jones subbing out with about a quarter of an hour remaining in the first half. Here is the 29-year-old Portuguese center back. Fagundes, who, as Tony Meola said, was probably one of the most impactful players in the first half for New England. Out of the reach of Diego Fagundes. Gonzalez with the considerable size advantage to hold it for a moment for Los Angeles. Zardes down for Juninho, and now wide here for Maganto.
To see Maganto get a little bit more involved in the play. Thought he was pretty active in the first half, especially early on in the game.
Sort of in the direction of Zardes. A little bit of a difficult ball to handle, but misplayed off the heel of Bunbury. But you almost wonder if maybe he knows Maganto. He's got to retreat a little bit more, defend a little bit more, and not venture forward to leave that space open.
You talk about that. Anytime you can keep possession, right, you keep defenders on their heels. They can't take so many chances. So the more LA can possess the ball, New England's done a very good job so far of it in the midfield, especially early on in the first half when Fagundes got on the ball. Caldwell, I think, has been excellent throughout the game. His positioning, watching it from up above, he closes gaps. It's in the midfield still where I think this thing will eventually be won.
That's where you wonder if the Revolution might feel that loss of Jermaine Jones. Time will tell here in the second half. Good collection from the youngster Fagundes. Holds off the challenge there from Baggio Husidic, but Maganto steps in. Gonzalez with the clearance toward midfield.
You're seeing Agudelo take a more interior spot here to allow Alston to get forward on that left-hand side of the field. We'll see how that plays out throughout the half. With his starting position here, again, we see him making another run in the middle of the field, checking back about 30 yards to try and find a pass there.
Galaxy trying to high pressure. They do eventually force the turnover. And LA will pick up the throw just off the edge of the Revolution bench. Zardis finds a bit of freedom in front of Alston. Squares up against the Revs left back. Delivers the ball in towards Alan Gordon. Nodding header. Couldn't find the power behind it. And Shuttleworth will grab it. Back downstairs to Katie Witham.
Well, Mark, Tony just mentioned it looks like New England easing into the second half here. The one thing Jay Heaps said at halftime was he told his team to play safe here in the second. Because LA has Alan Gordon on the field, he feels like they're going to be much more direct.
Alan Gordon has continued to prove throughout the course of his career the definition of super substitute. He was even telling Katie Witham earlier this week he understands that role and adjusts and prepares himself for games because he knows that's what he needs to do.
And just little things like that, holding the ball at midfield, doesn't have any options, draws a foul, gives LA the opportunity to possess the ball once again. Those are the things you learn over your career, different areas of the field where you can help your team.
Gordon trying to chase this one down in the center circle. Cardwell zipping it away. Maganto, line clearance over his shoulder, and Alston will let that roll out near midfield. Just about 10 minutes gone here in the second half. Either team able to grab a hold of the match so far here. Steady rain really coming down. It was a little lighter in the first half, but a steady rain coming down in the second half.
As this rain continues, I wouldn't be surprised if Bruce Arena inserts Edson Buttle into the game, maybe brings Zardis out wide a little bit to run off of an Alan Gordon and Buttle, who are good players holding up, also good players flicking balls on.
I think if we've learned anything, and you've got plenty of experience crossing paths with Bruce Arena, he doesn't like to mess with the back at all. Once he gets into a good rhythm in a game, he will not mess with his back line. So if there is going to probably be two of his further changes tonight, I think you're right, Tony. He probably goes somewhere in the midfield or maybe reshapes the formation a little bit.
When you think about the first half for New England, yeah, they broke LA down on the first goal with that great Caldwell pass.
That ball into the space. Pinedo has to come, and he'll use his feet, even though he had the ability to go down and make the wide barrier to pull it in.
You know, in that case, that's a good job for me by Pinedo. You think about the wet surface here. If he goes down and tries to make a play, right now you're sliding out of the box. So I thought a good choice right off the bat. Think about it, he only had about 3 or 4 feet there before he reached the 18-yard box, so probably a smart decision.
Boys and girls, those are the words of a long-term, very experienced goalkeeper and my partner, Tony Miola.
You see Pinedo as LA loses the ball in the midfield. Bad turnover, but look how close. Yeah, see, only about a yard in the box. If he goes down and slides out of the box, maybe hits off of Davies' knee, his foot, ends up behind him. I'm okay with that play.
Just over 10 minutes into the second half here at Gillette Stadium. MLS on FS1 presented by Audi. Mark Rogandino, Tony Miola, Katie Witham down in between the sidelines. And an energetic first half that saw both teams find the back of the net twice. An early start by Teal Bunbury and the Revs. But an answer from Maganto and Zardis to give LA a 2-1 lead before the 20-year-old Fagundes tied us about 8 minutes before halftime. Now the question is which team might be able to find a winner, and as I said, buck the trend for each team. LA again winless on the road this season, and New England unbeaten here at Gillette Stadium. Fans not pleased with the call going against their Revs.
You see this ball going in. Bunbury a little bit confused about the foul. Now you're starting to see players get frustrated with some of the fouls.
Gordon wins that one to knot it down for Zardis. Overlapping run in front for Alan Gordon. And cleared out by the Revs. terms of Robbie Keane, yes, there's no question LA have missed him. He did not travel, folks, by the way, out with the Galaxy to come here for this Sunday night affair. But I would think you'd say Gyasi Zardes, as we previewed at the top of the broadcast, Tony, has done a good job shouldering some of that pressure and carrying the ball up front for them.
He has, and the other guy that I'm looking at right now is Ishizaki, and the way he's played out wide and the ability 5 or 6 times to get down the line and put balls in, and he's used this wet surface to get balls in and across the box. Right, so the fact that Robbie Keane is not here, okay, maybe you don't have that creative flair on the field, so you find different ways to attack and get at it. And listen, Bruce Arena knew Robbie Keane wasn't going to be here, of course, right? And they've played a majority of the season without Robbie Keane, so they've had to find different ways. And that's why this LA team just continues to hang around.
In case you missed any of the first half action, you're in luck. We take you back to the 5th minute. Teal Bunbury with the finish. The Galaxy would respond. Look at this strike here from Nacho Maganto. His first career MLS goal. And then a great back heel from Villarreal for Zardes to finish off his 3rd of the season. 2-1 LA, but hang on. Diego Fagundes from the free kick with a beautiful bending ball up and over the wall and dipping it under the bar to bring us level at 2.
I'm looking at all 4 of those goals. You couldn't really ask for 4 better goals, right? They weren't all, okay, maybe a mistake in the back here or there, but finishes were outstanding throughout the game.
No question. See if maybe one of those indeed does become a nomination for the AT&T Goal of the Week. And you might just see it here next week. Credit to those fans out here braving the elements and taking in a little bit of Sunday soccer here inside Gillette Stadium. Actually, believe it or not, the day started out not too bad. And all of a sudden at about 1-2 p.m., the floodgates of rain just opened up. Just about an hour gone. Both teams have had a couple of looks here in the second half, but no goals to speak of just yet. Alan Gordon will pressure the ball. Earl sending it out to Dorman. Woodbury doesn't seem to get as forward as often as Alston on the other side. It looks like our second booking of the night as Alan Kelly shows the yellow to Andy Dorman.
And Dorman on this turnover here. Oscar Sordo pushes it by him. Ball down, Kelly. I think Dorman knew the yellow card was coming there, but didn't break up the attack.
Second yellow card handed out on the night. Kevin Alston picking one up in the 24th minute in the first half of play. Agio Husidic delivers one onto the back post. Gonzalez is there, heads it back across, and one hop into the gloves of Shuttleworth. Tony, I tell you what, really, you look at Bobby Shuttleworth, and aside from twice having to pull the ball out of the back of his net, it hasn't been that he's been terribly busy tonight.
No, he hasn't had much to do. There have been some dangerous opportunities for LA, but of course, as you mentioned, the 2 goals really had no say in either of those goals. Kind of a quiet night for him, unfortunately for him. Just to pull 2 out of the back of the net, like you said, but you have those nights.
Woodbury through the legs of Maganto, and then a good ball. Gonzalez just got a clip of it with the head to send the ball through and out for a corner. Davies hovering on the back shoulder.
I'm not sure Woodbury here was looking to Meg Maganto. No, it looked like he was trying to pull it back, mishit it. But this is a good ball in, really stretches Gonzalez, so has to make a good play at the back post.
Of course, he would tell you, no, I meant to do it. First corner of the second half for the Revs. Short variety this time, out top for Farrell. Tries to chip it in, headed away by Alan Gordon, back defending for the Galaxy. Is there a second chance opportunity brewing for the home side? Leonardo nods that one away back towards midfield. Dorman will win it. And now Juninho just putting it out into space. Gyasi Zardes with a chance to just try and run it down. Now the quick counter coming back the other way. Agudelo playing it out wide. The shot, Pinedo denies the first chance. Leonardo looking to clear, doesn't get a foot to it. Finally, it's Oscar Sordo to send it away.
That's a good break out there by New England. As I mentioned earlier, Agudelo taking more interior positions on the field. Starts that counterattack. You see it here. Here's Agudelo getting right at the heart of the defense. Gargan goes through his legs. Good positioning by Pinedo. Not much else Bunbury could do with that one. Maybe play it across, but clearly was looking for a shot at goal. Like he opened up to bend it to the far post. Didn't hit it perfectly, but Pinedo there to make a play.
You could see how quickly, though, as it looks like now Dan Gargan is the outside back for LA, is being helped off the field. Tony, you can see how quickly the Revs, though, in their transition game can go north and south and get their opportunities.
Yeah, the one thing that's striking me here as I watch it from up above, the fact that Agudelo's in the middle of the field is really taking away from Charlie Davies. Now he's trying to get over the shoulder of players. So Teal Bunbury's taking a more a closer position to Davies, as is Agudelo. I know they want to get their wide players, but it's easier, I think, when you pull players in the run of play. Then you can let the wide players get outside and be active, but they're actually standing almost in Charlie Davies' way, so he's looking for other opportunities.
Well, what really you could probably call a 4-5-1 from the way that we lined it up has almost become a little bit more of your traditional 4-4-2. Woodbury with the throw. Looking for Davies just inside the edge of the 18. Maganto skates away from the challenge but clears it right out to Caldwell. Trying to open things up. Long ball all the way across. Right-footed shot, but deflected on the way in another corner for the Revs. And it looks like Bruce Arena indeed is going to make his second change. Kavarinen will come on, one of the new faces this season for Los Angeles. Onto the back post, headed away by Gonzalez. Loose ball finally cleared defensively by the Galaxy.
You know, there's 3 changes now that look like something other than tactical changes from a coaching standpoint, right? You draw this stuff up throughout the week. If we're a goal down, this is the tactical decision. If we lose a man, this is what we're going to do. If we're up for goal, this is what we're going. You don't draw decisions up based on players getting hurt. So now coaches have made 3 decisions now based on injuries.
And it looks like with the change, the second substitute of the night for Bruce Arena. Baggio Husidic will slide out to the spot where Dan Gargan was. Storman hits this one out wide. Husidic trying to win it. Ishizaki sending it forward in the direction of Zardes. Juninho, first time in toward the space. Maganto. Woodbury did well to step up, disrupt things for a moment, but now it's Juninho waiting one over the top for Gordon. Brings it down with the chest. On the same page there as he was trying to connect with Maganto, who had tucked inside.
Really compressing the field here, not giving New England too much space. They've done a very good job so far. I'm watching Maganto here out on the left side. Looks to be getting a little bit tired. Follow that as it develops. Sometimes throughout the course of the game, you made 2 or 3 runs. You need to sit there and you need to get a breather.
Zardes, maybe enough of a touch. Varanin on the overlapping run, back into the feet of Gyasi Zardes. He already has one tonight. Opening chance here. Maganto has one of his own as well. And does he have another? No, loose ball, and Shuttleworth pounces on it.
Well, he had the ability to get forward there, and we just talked about Shuttleworth not having anything to do. Sometimes those are the most difficult games for goalkeepers. But came up big here as we see the break. Gyasi Zardes, good vision. Maganto makes the run. Maybe that first touch a little bit too far, eluded him a little bit too much. Bobby Shuttleworth reads it, makes a good play.
And you have to give credit to the right outside back, London Woodbury, with that long touch there from Maganto, able to close that space. Otherwise, it's probably a little bit more of a crisp effort there for Maganto to look for his second of the night and of his career. Here is Nacho. Juninho. Varanen comes over to help. They circle it back around here for Sordo. Waded into the space for Maganto, and the tackle to push it away by Andy Dorman.
Good tackle by Dorman. Read that one, read the timing perfectly.
While we make some changes here in the 69th minute, we go back downstairs to Katie with him.
Mark, just a few moments ago, Alan Gordon came over to the sideline and told Bruce Arena his right knee was bothering him. I think it might just be a little tweak, but Edson Buttle into the game for him for another injury substitution.
And he went into a 50-50 ball in the middle of the park, and you could see him come up a little bit limping probably about 8-9 minutes ago.
But amazing for Bruce Arena and the staff, right? You draw this plan up, and these are some subs that they probably would have made at some point, but nonetheless, they don't make them for the reasons that they thought they might make them for. Now Bruce Arena, with all the injuries that he's accumulated throughout the season, now he's got to deal with 3 more potential injuries.
Well, it's such a rare occasion when you have a substitute for a substitute, and that indeed is the case here, as Edson Buttle will step on to replace Alan Gordon with a little more than 20 minutes remaining in the second half. There is Buttle. Touched out Teal Bunbury. Similar size in the two players in Edson Buttle and Alan Gordon, but different skill sets. Both can hold the ball, but you'd say Edson a little more crafty with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, and he's a guy that'll run off your shoulder a little bit more. I played with Edson in New York when he was a little bit younger. He's been in this league for 15 years now. As I said earlier, happy to be back in LA playing with this team. Now he takes on a bigger role here, and who knows, as the weeks start to move forward here with all these injuries, his role might become even bigger now for this Galaxy team.
And believe it or not, it's his 3rd stint with LA. In between the 1st and 2nd, he was over playing in the 2nd division, Bundesliga 2, I believe, in Germany. And then, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of seasons in Colorado with the Rapids, and now he's back wearing the Galaxy shirt. Ishizaki trying to high-pressure defend over there in between the benches and earns the throw for LA. Is there a winner in the cards here tonight inside Gillette Stadium? Edson Buttle, excuse me, will lay it off. Gonzalez steps in. Maganto hustles over to keep it in play. Varanen. LA take their foot off the gas pedal for a moment. Leonardo. Sordo. First time over the top, but headed away there by Farrell. Last touch by Fagundes. Revolution trying to keep themselves unbeaten here at Gillette Stadium. 3 wins and 4 draws. And you have to go back to July of last year, the last time they tasted defeat here. Agudelo pulls it onto his left foot, drops it back for Dorman. Could be something good brewing here for the Revs. Woodbury trying to turn the corner, he cannot. Fagundes with the centering ball, pushed away by Ishizaki, and Zardes will forward it on. Revs mount up for another surge forward. Dorman to play it wide. Woodbury clipping it across to the back post. Numbers there, but headed away by LA. And just out for a throw deep in the Galaxy's end.
Now we see Bunbury taking up that that number 9 role. It's Kellen Rowe in the game for Charlie Davies. As I mentioned earlier, Mark, really not active, I think, because of the way New England was deploying their 2 wide guys, really crowding his space, but Bunbury now in his more familiar position.
And there was one of the other substitution Katie Witham was mentioning. Kellen Rowe, the 23-year-old former UCLA Bruin and first-round pick. Bending ball, Pinedo comes to punch. Looking for his Galaxy defense to clean things up. Leonardo will battle just outside the 6 to try and clear it. It's Gonzalez who gets ahead to it, and now Zardes using some pace to get himself out towards midfield. Has Buttle to his immediate right. Good step in there from Andrew Farrell. And he wins it right back for New England.
Good play by Pinedo there to come out, make a punch on that corner kick.
Approaching the final quarter of an hour tonight. And all sorts of storylines starting to weave their way into the last minutes of this second half. Changes for both coaches, injuries for both teams, goals for both teams, and chances for both teams.
We finally have a tactical substitution, right, by Jay Heaps. I think overall, both teams, both coaches a little bit happier with the way their teams have played in the second half, although not as many goals, obviously. You see a good ball in there by Woodbury. Tell Bunbury, good Leonardo and Gonzalez a handful throughout the rest of the second half, I'm sure. But the fact that they've been a little bit tighter defensively probably makes both these coaches a little bit happier than they were in the first half.
Fourth corner of the second half, 6th of the match for New England. See if they can find something out of it. Fagundes right toward the penalty spot. Deflected ball comes through. And out for corner number 7. Last one went to the penalty spot from the youngster Fagundes. This one driven a little deeper inside the 18. Comes all the way through. Gonzalez will run it down. Just able to keep it in along that far sideline. Rowe trying to split a couple of Galaxy defenders. And LA will clear. Looking to play the ball through, and the offside flag will come up against Teal Bunbury. Tried to hold his run as long as he could.
Yeah, Aguadillo tried to hold up there. Once he committed himself, he figured he'd take a chance. See it here. Good line by LA. And it's a good step there by Sordo. No question about that one. Good call by assistant referee.
And Tony, that should do it for the changes on the night, as New England goes to the bench for the final time. Diego Fagundes out, and Daigo Kobayashi will come in. Diego out, Daigo in.
Similar style of players, like to have the ball at their feet. Don't see much changing there.
Are you surprised, though, that it's Fagundes that comes off?
It really wasn't that active, I didn't think, in the second half, especially the last 10 minutes or so. Maybe ran out of gas. Isn't a guy who's played a lot of minutes, hasn't seen 90 minutes for a long time. Actually, he's 1 game away from being the youngest player to ever play his first 100 games in Major League Soccer. I believe Eddie Gavin was the first one to 100. He's got about 9 games now he's got to play to break that record. But of course, not a guy that's really 90-minute fit, I would think, at this point.
Saw the numbers there. Impressive numbers for a 20-year-old who will hit the century mark for games played probably in the next week or 2. Zardes trying to cause some havoc in the attacking third. Buttle will battle for it, but instead it's Andy Dorman to bring it down.
I talked with Jay Heaps just about this type of play that Farrell made here, this individual defending. He said, when my team has to get in positions where there's desperation defending, they think Farrell can do it, they think Gonçalves can do it, they have players to do it, but he's all about team defense, getting in good spots, not having this sort of desperation type of tackle that we saw here from Farrell. He said, if anything defensively, that's the one thing he doesn't like.
Varanen trying to play the ball through into space for Zardes, did get a touch to it. Well, our MLS coverage continues on Friday as the Houston Dynamo take on the New York Red Bulls. You can see that one on Unimos. And then it's MLS Soccer Sunday, starting with Real Salt Lake hosting the Colorado Rapids on ESPN News, as this ball comes back for Pinedo. And then finally, it's our game. The San Jose Earthquakes taking on FC Dallas at 7 p.m. Eastern. You'll see it right here on Fox Sports 1, sponsored by Audi. See what Dominic Kinnear and the Quakes have in store for the Hoops as they come to town up in Northern California. But we've still got 10 plus minutes in this one here at Gillette Stadium. Pretty impressive when it comes to home form. You look at the Revolution, unbeaten in their last 15, but at the opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Galaxy winless in their last 11 regular season road matches, with 6 losses in those 11. Ball to the back post for Buttle. Back in front. Varanen hits it with the right foot, asking for the handball, no call.
Good job by Edson Buttle. Ball gets to the back post. He puts it back in the danger zone. Varanen following up there. Too many bodies in front of the goal, but good opportunity for LA.
Certainly had some space to try and get off a quality effort. Not sure he struck it exactly as he would have liked. Here's Ishizaki. Touchdown, another throw for Los Angeles.
Here we see the quick free kick by LA. Back post to Buttle. Can't get it on the frame, not looking to. Actually a pretty good hit there. Varanen calling for a handball. Don't really see it there. Yeah, if anything, I think it was on Gyasi Zardes there.
Caldwell spinning on his left foot to clear it. Maganto leaves it for Juninho. Sordo, good vision as he sprays it all the way wide for Ishizaki. Alston will slide over to defend. Kellen Rowe comes late. There's Caldwell stepping back in. Varanen pressuring the ball, but it's going to be New England's throw.
It's been LA now on the front foot here. New England a little bit pinned back. LA's done a better job this last 10 or 15 minutes or so with possession. Can they squeeze one on the road? Again, knowing Bruce Arena's mindset, he's not the type of guy that just sits back. Of course, he's got those 6 points in this 3-game swing here already in the bag. Knowing him, I'm sure there's some instruction at some point. Maybe we go for it.
LA on the heels of 2-1-0 wins, at least trying to stay unbeaten through 3 before they get a nice little stretch of 3 of their next 4 at home at the StubHub Center. While New England trying to keep that unbeaten home form intact. Here's Buttle. He steps into the space. Not a lot of help immediately available, and it's New England and Caldwell who come away with it. Yes, New England, Tony, has been pinned back a little bit the last 10 minutes or so, but you can say the game is there to grab for either team and the players that are out there now.
And no question about it. This New England team, they can strike quick. Now you see New England throwing numbers forward here.
Agudelo asking for it into space, has to kick it into another gear to keep it in play. Centering pass. Maganto could clear it. It's Woodbury onto the back post. Baggio Husidic is there to send it away.
Woodbury maybe rushed that cross just a little bit. Only Kobayashi at that back post. I thought he could have maybe possessed it a little bit longer for New England there. Certainly inviting when the ball gets dropped back to you and you're a wide player. If it's not on, you pull it back out.
Agudelo asking for it again. Gets it at the edge of the 18. Deflected out. It'll be a corner for the Revs. Now their 8th corner on the night. And with Fagundez checking out just a short time ago, It's Kellen Rowe who came in as a substitute to deliver it. In on the near post, headed across toward the backside. Juninho was trailing Agudelo the entire time.
Agudelo was able to get a header, flicked onto the back post. Juninho was all over him. You really can't ask much more of your defender there.
Don't forget, it's a great summer of soccer on Fox. Saturday, our coverage of the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup begins as China takes on the host Canada. And next Monday, don't miss Team USA's first game as they battle Australia on Fox Sports 1. Plus games all weekend long on Fox, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2. And it's all streaming live on Fox Sports Go. MLS play, Women's World Cup, Under 20s World Cup, and all of a sudden you dip into the Guinness Cup coming up later on in the summer. Busy time, my friend.
I just put my TV on Fox Sports 1. I don't have to change it the entire summer.
Well said. 84th minute of play. After a goal explosion of 2-2 through the first 45 minutes. Both teams jostling for position here in the second half to see if one team can come away with the lion's share of the points. Ishizaki quickly hits it from Aganto. He scored the first goal in the night for LA and the first of his career. Nice little step over to try and get by Woodbury, and Dorman has to come over to send it out of play.
The decisions by Ishizaki throughout the game have been outstanding. That one a quick free kick, found Maganto's wide open on the far side of the field.
Square into the feet of Gonzalez. A little hesitant with the decision making, but he gets away with it. Husidic heavy on the first touch as that one rolls out for a New England throw. We've had 2 cards handed out on the night by Alan Kelly, our referee, but both of them have been Revs players. Thought maybe we might see one there to Ishizaki. Leonardo wins the first ball. Gonzalez, looking over his shoulder for Pinedo to come out from his area. Husidic. A conversation between Omar Gonzalez, the Galaxy captain, with Alan Kelly, our referee. I think Kellen Rowe, one of the Galaxy players, got a little tangled up back there.
Like something off the ball maybe after that ball was cleared. Kelly doing a good job of just calming things down here, having a word with Kellen Rowe at the moment.
Rowe appearing in every game this season for the Revs. 3 goals and 3 assists so far. And now it's Pinedo. Panamanian international put it back in play. Buttle trying to settle that one just inside of New England's half. Caldwell into the space. Woodbury will give chase, and a late whistle will give New England the free kick chance.
New England pounced on that second ball there that rolled into the midfield, came off Buttle, and they went right away on the counterattack. You see the foul here. Gonzalez just getting his shoulder over Bunbury's. Good opportunity here for New England.
You alluded to the fact of set-piece chances for LA in the first half, but maybe a page out of that book for the Revs here in the second. Juninho heads away the driven ball in, and that one will skip out for an LA goal kick.
I think LA at this point may play, as we're seeing now, last couple of balls. Skip that midfield line a little bit, get it into the target, see if you can hold one up, run off of them a little bit, maybe get a guy sprung wide someplace. For New England, clearly they want to get after the 3 points here. Jay Heap screaming from the sideline right now. Had his group to get forward once they win it, get forward quickly.
Agudelo wins the first ball. Now Sordo comes in underneath to win it for Los Angeles, but they don't hold the possession. Gonzalez with the clearance. Caldwell just tries to push it right back in. Ishizaki, good skill. Up and over the top. Zardes was onside. Now he gets a chance to use some of his speed against Farrell. Good defending once again from Andrew Farrell back there.
I think you're happy with that if you're LA. Spring Zardes over the top, maybe around the corner someplace. Ishizaki with a good ball to Zardes. Wasn't able to finish it in the end. But a good effort here. It's like Zardes had a step. Farrell, one of the faster center backs in the league. As strong as just about anybody in the league. Does a good job there winning it. But I think, Mark, if you're LA, you've taken your chance now to try and win the game. If you get another one of those balls sprung forward, you're okay with it. New England, I think, will have a little bit more urgency maybe to go and get the 3 points at home.
As the saying goes, points on the road are never a bad thing. Leonardo gets there first, able to clear it away before Kobayashi could put a touch on it. Just over a minute left in regulation. I would imagine Alan Kelly puts 2, if not 3 minutes of added time. We'll see that indication in just a moment here. Woodbury's hit a couple of nice services from this right side as they have another one in him here in the closing minutes. Gonzalez. Woodbury pushing forward from the right back spot. Maganto steps in to deny the service.
LA in a deeper posture right now. All 10 guys within 45, 50 yards of their own goal. Giassi Zardes 20 yards almost inside his half.
Lone meeting of the season between the teams that determined the MLS Cup winner this past December. It was LA coming away and holding the trophy. In that one, it's the third time, in fact, they had met in the MLS Cup Final. LA has won all of them. Dorman gets it about 35 yards out from the Galaxy goal. Zardes will come to pressure, chipping on in the direction of Kobayashi. Galaxy just content to try and clear the ball and take precious seconds off the clock. 3 minutes minimum of added time. Edson Buttle uses his strength to try and win it for LA, and he does.
Great job by Buttle there to hold that one up. Juninho just plays it in his area. In a lane, he thought Buttle could get after it. His body in front of Goncalves keeps that ball.
Galaxy trying to make it 3 matches straight unbeaten. As you said, Tony, with the long travel going west to east. Yes, you'd like to have all 3 points, but to come here and earn a point, especially in the conditions, I think Bruce Arena and his staff probably pretty content with that.
Hey, I would think if you're Bruce Arena, as we said, happy with the result if it stands. Maybe not so much for Jay Heaps, not because you get a tie here, but you get a tie against a team, one that was missing players, especially their star in Robbie Keane, as we talked about.
Zardes top of the area. New England picks back up the possession.
But also had to mix it up defensively. Then they make 3 substitutions that weren't tactical substitutions. So when you talk about all those things bungled up, things look good if you're New England. I think Jay Heaps would have bought into that if you told him prior to the game, and probably would have thought that they'd come out of this with 3 points.
I think you add one caveat to that, the fact that they did score just 5 minutes in. One of your keys we were looking at to begin the broadcast. Can they jump on an undermanned LA team early? They did, but they don't make it pay off, at least as of yet. A little more than a minute remaining in the minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time. Can we see some late heroics? A free kick will certainly give you that opportunity. Revs don't waste any time to put it in play to the feet of Dorman. Woodbury now. Back for the veteran Andy Dorman. Farrell will step in. Maganto will clear. Varanen just sends it all the way back in the direction of Bobby Shuttleworth. Revs fans pleading for New England to push the ball long forward. Husidic back there defending. Out top, Juninho puts a touch to it, just enough to disrupt things. And then cleared away towards midfield by Ishizaki. Alan Kelly takes a quick glance at the watch and then points for a throw here for New England. We began the night asking questions of would there be some redemption here on the night the offside flag comes up, even though the shot from Agudelo bangs off of the post.
What a great job recognizing pressure in the midfield. Omar Gonzalez and Leonardo hold their line. Agudelo just a little bit anxious there, but that came because there was a little bit of pressure. They could read where the pass, the lane the pass was going to enter in. Agudelo certainly offside on that one.
Galaxy, as you would imagine, will take their time. Now you see the two head coaches coming together right in between the benches. Not exactly sharing any words. Pinedo puts it back in play. Zardes trying to knot it down, and the final whistle from Alan Kelly will bring this one to a close. An electric first half, and neither team could tussle away the 3 points, so they will have the points with a 2-2 final score.
Boy, if you told Bruce Arena in this 3-game stint here that he would get 6 points, he'd be happy. He gets the bonus here against New England under very, very difficult conditions. But a good game by both teams. Maybe an opportunity for New England early to put the game away, but give Bruce Arena and this makeshift side credit. They come all the way across the country and find themselves a point.
Tony, let's go to our Heineken moment of the match. And you know, the Galaxy might have had all 3 points if it wasn't for the heroics from the youngster Fagundes here.
Well, it doesn't get any prettier than that. We've talked about it, up and down, over the wall. Diego Fagundes. That was the tying goal. An outstanding free kick.
And a Heineken moment of the match for Fagundes with the 37th minute equalizer. Let's go downstairs to Katie with him.
Thanks, Mark. Well, Giassi, your goal, I don't think could have been any more stylish. You told me yesterday the chemistry that you and Jose had. We saw it on the back heel. It looked like you just knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, like I said before, me and Jose, we understand each other. And once he touched the ball, it was a wonderful back heel.
You guys still winless on the road, but you walk away with a point in a very wet, messy game. Are you happy?
I'm very happy, you know. It's unfortunate we didn't get the win, but we came out with a point, and that's what matters.
Giassi, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Giassi Zardes' third goal was the second on the night for the Galaxy and part of the 2-2 final score. We'll come back with more on FS1.